Hey everybody!
Happy new month.
Happy new month.
December, last month of 2021.
And we are back to December. It's
all the time.
Sad girl autumn has been going great. Taylor's words. Eventually. Although the internet's at first, until Taylor sort of like owned it and made her own stuff.
Anyway, moving on. We are here to share our possibility pile for the month of December.
That's right.
I think this is a little ambitious considering December is filled with holiday stuff. We're going on a trip in December with some of our friends, which is really exciting. So I don't know how much reading we'll actually get done, but I guess there's nothing wrong with being
absolutely nothing
ambitious.
wrong with being ambitious. Would you like to kick your things off with your ambition?
I try to be ambitious all the time. I'm gonna start by talking about the 3 books that I don't own physically, so that you know I can just pop a picture up for you. So the first book is actually by a friend of mine, Jody Meadows. It's her new YA fantasy book called Night Render, which is out in January 2022. So the summary of it, or well, the tagline for it is "Kingdoms will fall, gods will die, and hearts will be broken" in this sprawling new fantasy book. Nice. So the whole story is that there is a betrothed couple. They're supposedly going to be the salvation of, you know, the world because the devil's realm is trying to break into it.
Sure.
But one part of the betrothed couple has decided that he wants to wake this being called the Night Render, because the Night Render is powerful enough to keep them all safe, but also the Night Render is also powerful enough to destroy everything.
Yeah.
So remains to be seen which side the Night Render is going to take. The next book is one that the next 2 books actually are books that I'm reading with my friend Rachel for our feature Friends with Arcs, which we do on our blogs. The first book is When You Get the Chance, which is by Emma Lord. This basically was pitched to me as Mamma Mia, except the other way around. So instead of there being 3 options for the dad, there's more like 3 options for the mom, or multiple options for the mom, which will be fun. And the main character is also an aspiring Broadway star, which is pretty fun. I've enjoyed Emma Lord's other books, so I'm pretty sure I'll enjoy this one. And the last one for the digital ones that I'm reading is going to be Loveboat Reunion, which is a companion novel to Loveboat Taipei. So Loveboat Reunion focuses on 2 of the secondary characters in that book, Sophie and Xavier. They kind of had a thing, and then they had a falling out, and now they've resolved all that and they're friends again. And they're each trying to pursue their own future in their own way, but external pressure is kind of making that difficult for them, coupled with the fact that there has been sort of a casual like series of Loveboat group reunions, and they're starting to feel the sparks fly again. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how that one plays out as well.
And who doesn't love it when sparks fly? Who doesn't?
It's your turn.
My turn. I'm going to start off with my digital. Everything's digital with me these days, but comics, I want to say, and graphic novels. Dresse is actually coming out this, I want to say, end of December. The 3rd volume, Mass Murders, I think is what it's called. It is a Filipino graphic novel set in Manila, Philippines, surrounding Alexandra Trece, who happens to be the sort of like the last in a line of babaylan who have the like ability to make you keep balance like in the underworld. And it's this really, really fun thing where they took lots of Filipino references, creatures, lore,
magic, history,
horror stories, and urban myths and legends, and wrapped it all up into sort of like this noirish kind of, you know, she's basically the sheriff of like underworld town.
Yeah, she's the contact between the mortal and the
whatever
supernatural.
And so go watch the Netflix series if you guys are into that. I mean, and who doesn't love like paranormal stuff at Christmas time, right? So that's me. And speaking of, we're doubling down on that because I am finally going to get caught up on Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah,
Alexa has
it's so good.
The few times that Alexa has gone ahead of me when it comes to like joint.
This is one of those times.
Yeah, this is one of those times, and she totally just like sank her teeth into it and has never stopped.
Great. Who would have thought that I would enjoy it?
Like it's just, and it's fun, and it's funny. Well, she loves Gojo, so who doesn't?
He's not the only one I loved.
For those of you who don't know, Jujutsu Kaisen is
that man has a very haunted backstory.
And doesn't she love them that way? So Jujutsu Kaisen is about a high school student who manages to somehow, some way ingest the remains, well, specifically the finger, of a specifically powerful demon that allows him not just to fight other curses, but even utilize the curse in itself to become very strong and powerful and make sure that other curses don't kill other people. He meets a bunch of other students who are sort of in his line of work, and they're all led by this teacher named Gojo. And together they form the next batch of students graduating from Jujutsu Kaisen hi.
Me casually smiling here, like
smiling because it's awesome. Yeah, because who doesn't want to like stop the world and stop people from being eaten and devoured terribly? So again, more Christmas stories for me. And finally, and who doesn't love an apocalypse at Christmas time? Why the Last Man by Brian K. Vaughan. Again, inspired by the resurgence of the TV series, and the sales were probably like, you know, triggered as well by, hey, you guys should watch this. And then I did, and I'm like, okay, I understand why you guys got canceled. No shade, I would have watched more of it. I would have. I also get why they're like, yeah, we're not, no more, like, we're done. Like, it's about the last man on Earth after a terrible pandemic, and who doesn't love those at Christmas time? Wipes out every single creature with a Y chromosome, except for Yorick and his monkey ampersand.
Still funny that he's named Yorick and he's Y.
Yeah, so why the last? It's just this whole thing, and so his mom becomes sort of like de facto president of the United States, because even if she's like, I don't know, agriculture secretary, something along the lines of that kind of obscure part of government, because every male has, you know, unfortunately, well, not male, but every person with a Y chromosome has, you know, like, so while I appreciated TV series where they're like, so all the men are dead, and she's like, no, just the ones with a Y chromosome, and I'm like, all right, cool. While I appreciated that, everything else sort of in and around it was like, so I'm going back to the comics to like,
I feel like a lot of people really enjoy the comics.
It's Brian K. Vaughan. Of course they, like, this is, you know, this is Runaways.
That's what I heard.
You know, so it's really, I mean, I don't know how it's going to hold up, but from what I've already started reading, it's like, all right, I remember why this was what they should have done. So, but that aside, let's go back to you. What else are you reading?
I'm going to continue talking about books that I'm reading with other people since we're already on that train.
Oh yeah, totally.
So the first one is the last family book club pick for the year. We picked something really short and easy to read. It's a book called The Holiday Switch, which is by Tiff Marcello. So it is about Lila Santos, and she lives in this very cozy small town in New York. It is also the setting of this like really well-known holiday movie as well. But what happens is that she ends up working part-time while she's on Christmas break, and she kind of ends up butting heads with the son of the owner of the place where she works at, because you know, they're opposites, and who knows if opposites will attract. Oh wait, we kind of do. But I can't wait to see how it happens in that book. Next, I'm reading all of the next books with Danica. So the last buddy read we're doing for the year, that has nothing to do with our series buddy reads, is The Betrayals, which is by Bridget Collins. Has this gorgeous cover. An intricate and utterly spellbinding literary epic brimming with enchantment, mystery, and dark secrets. And it's about an elite academy, sort of, and the goings-on there. And I'm really looking forward to checking it out. I decided to pick this one for the last book of the year just because I wanted that sort of atmospheric kind of mystery read type thing. And then we will be reading Witch Shadow, and this is in the event that I actually have read Blood Witch by the time we're filming this a few days before November ends, so I still have a chance to finish it. We will see. Witch Shadow is the latest book in the Witchland series. I am very curious as to where the story is going to go here, especially considering who is on the cover and the title change, or title format change, I should say. I don't know much else about this one because I haven't read Blood Witch yet. And then we have 2 books in the Throne of Glass series, so Danny and I are a little bit behind, just a little. So Tower of Dawn got bumped over to this month. Tower of Dawn is set in the southern continent. It centers primarily around Kale Westfall, who I love, and Nezrin Falik, who is another person I love. And we also meet a bunch of individuals, some new, some not so new, in this particular installment in the series. I'm very excited to get back to it. And of course, we will finish it off by reading Kingdom of Ash, which I've only ever read in full once, because I could not put myself through the traumatic experience of the series finale more than once at the time. But I am looking forward to revisiting it, to seeing, you know, what happens in it, to marking it up, because this is one of the only ones that's not actually annotated yet. So it'll be a fun time for sure, or an emotional one. We don't really know. So
I'm gonna like add that to my TBR for December as well. So I'm gonna buddy read. Like, when you start Kingdom of Ash, I'm going to read it with you as well. It's going to be fun.
Cool. All right, you can take over for a little bit.
Which is like an excellent segue back to my stuff, wouldn't you say? So speaking of books that I actually will read, so yes, we'll do Kingdom of Ash, because it sounds like fun. It's like everybody's like, you know.
I think you just want to see me suffer. That's really all that is.
I'll be suffering with you, but mostly for my, like, you know, it's not even its own thing. But anyway.
We'll probably discuss this at a future time.
Yes, we will. So Nicole Conway's Godling is coming out on
that another
December
dragon
20. It is, yeah, it's a Dragon Rider Legacy. So it is again set in a world where people so used to, you know, ride dragons, and then a very heroic character named Javid passed into
Javid.
legend. And then, you know, the terrible war heralds his, you know, glorious return several generations later. And this is set in the post that, I want to say, in a world where Javid has returned, and now the kingdom has to sort of like figure out their place with this younger dragon rider who is female and has to, you know, set her place in the world. So I like that. That's pretty cool. I'm also reading Sky Hunter by Marie Lu. I've sort of started already, and I just like that opening line of just like, these are the terrible things that are, you know, like creeping outside and are going to try to kill everybody, and we are the only ones trained to like defeat them. We're the only free lands from. So it's very post-apocalyptic. Very, we are the elite who keeps the rest of
there's like
humanity's dregs safe.
Very
There's a
Attack
wall,
on Titan
very,
vibes.
in that sense, right? Although I don't know if these things. I haven't gotten to the part to confirm whether these things are like gigantic or they're just like so many.
It's not so much the opponents, more just like the setup that I felt.
Yeah,
was
so
very...
walls, terrible creatures, and then an elite fighting force to preserve the last dregs of humanity as it rages against the dying of the light, or what have you. So Marie Lu at her finest, I want to say, top form. I'm totally into that. And then certainly not leastly, because this is a massive book, The Wheel of Time.
You're not reading the whole thing, are you? Because that's...
I don't know. You saw me go down the hole with the Sardothian, right? Like, it was just, you know, all the way down. So we don't know. Like, I tried reading Dune and couldn't, like, slug through. I mean, it's a product of its time, and I gravitate towards a specific kind of writing style.
Sure.
So if Wheel of Time just happens to sort of be that pace thereabouts, then maybe I'll slow down. But if it just so happens that it's not, and it fits well with me after all these years, I tried it once in high school, did not work. I could be 14.
I honestly don't know.
I could be 14 books in.
You could beat me to it.
I don't know.
They're
That's the
very
fun
long.
part. All I know is that Alexa and I sat through 3 hours of the sort of like available episodes on Amazon Prime. After, of course, dropping by the installment, which was super fun. You should check it out on Alexa's Instagram. And yeah, so that is, I'm reading this. This is interesting, and it's magnificent and brilliant, and I want to do that again. So
awesome.
Now your turn.
I have 2 more books left, and these are more like, I really hope to get to them, and they're also very pretty, so we shall see. The first one is an arc for Daughter of the Moon Goddess, which is by Su Lin Tan. This is also coming out in January, just like all the other review books that I mentioned earlier. So this is inspired by the legend of the Chinese Moon Goddess. It's a story in which the main character is on a quest to free her mom, but it pits her against the most powerful immortal in the realm that she lives in. And it just sounds like it's going to be right up my alley, so I'm excited. Plus this cover is a stunner. And last but not least, I'm reading this one because my friend Lauren from Fiction Tea told me to, and she said that it would be perfect to read it in December. So this is a book called Midnight in Everwood, and this is actually the Waterstones edition, so we've got some sprayed edges. Basically, it's a Nutcracker-inspired story, which I'm like always cautiously optimistic about those. I'm curious to see if I'm going to love this one as much as Lauren does. I know it's one of her favorite books that she's ever read, so I hope that I will feel the same way. I'm pretty excited, and plus, does this not look like a wintry book to you? Just look at that.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to read this. Seems fitting to end that there. So those are all the books that we're hoping to maybe get to in December. As I said, I have no idea how many of these we'll actually read, because December is a very busy month.
Indeed.
In general, with all the holiday stuff and just hanging out with people we like, it's gonna be a wild time.
It's gonna be a thing.
Anyway, we hope you all are doing well, and you have to let us know what you guys are planning to read in December, or if you're planning to read any of the same books as us. We'd love to hear it. And we will see you guys with a new video soon. Bye!
Bye.